Greetings, and welcome back. This is the Solo Gamer. You may call me Matt, and today we step into the wilds. The Monster Hunter Wilds. Title drop. All joking aside, this game's a recently released mega hit, and I'm really not trying to jump into any of the game's big story moments or any of that jazz. You can pretty much see that all you like online. What I'm gonna be doing is giving you a basic premise rundown on Monster Hunter, how it plays, what it's like. You get the general idea. So what is Monster Hunter? Well, it's a well-known, highly beloved series of action-adventure, monster-slaying action games in which you fight monsters, explore worlds, and pet pigs. Oh! He's not happy with me. I did not pet him enough. Sorry, dude. But basically, Monster Hunter Wilds allows you to play through both a singular narrative story, but also just go out and hunt monsters. You also can acquire items, retrieve materials from your partnerships, and trade equipment, and as you play, the game expands and gives you different options. So for example, let's go to the very beginning and fight the first true boss you fight in the game. Well, not the first one, but the updated fight later on. The Chetacabra. What is the Chetacabra? Well, it's literally the first opponent you face in this game. Before I do that, let me collect my login bonus. Oh, there you are. But each of these items is a quest to fight a monster, a boss or a giant or some other massive force that you must contend with. Early on, you fight them at their low levels, level 1, level 2. But then after you beat the fourth main predator, one of the big bosses, you unlock level 4 high monster hunts. And these are more challenging, more difficult hunts with more gear. You'll notice I'm wearing some very unique armor and carrying some unusual weaponry. Well, that's because you don't get weaponry on its own. You start out with some basic equipment of a low level, but you get better weaponry by beating monsters and stealing their crap. For example, I currently have twin blades equipped, but I also have my pizza cutter of doom, the charge blade, and a variety of other equipment at my disposal. Now you'll notice something. I'm carrying quite a lot of gear, which next time after this hunt I really need to go back and exchange that out. But all the gear has different properties. Some of it is better at healing, at defending your injuries, resisting certain elements, giving you certain skills or abilities that gives you a very, very helpful bonus. But once you've tracked down your opponent, which your bird here does most of that himself now, you can initiate the battle. In my case, I'm going to drop a boulder on his head and start cutting him to ribbons. And now the fight is on. Now you'll notice, this thing's a big, ugly, monstrous beast. Part toad, part boxer. And I'm trying to avoid its attacks while also laying out as much damage as I can generate on my own. And that's the name of the game. to beat these things without dying, and then collect their parts. Now you notice I've wounded him. Pretty rough, too. So, if I injure that wound, I can lay a super attack on him and do some additional damage. And now, my charge blade is not only transformed into an axe, but now it's a buzzsaw. And in this mode, it does multi-hits, does elemental damage, and lays out even more and more dangerous impacts every hit. So, but it also uses up your fuel. And that fuel is acquired by injuring the monster, in this case. Because this weapon draws its strength by injuring its enemies. Now that gives it... Now that means I can power it up just by fighting. It also means I gotta get in obnoxiously close to fight these things. Now, he's taking the hits. That's bad. And I can switch back and forth between these various effects to change how I engage. So I can go from the Pizza Cutter of Doom and start doing, stack damage on that. And the more I do, the more I build up my power, the more I can recharge. And then I repeat. Now, in the early game, he'd be a challenge. He'd be a genuine threat. Now, he's not even really a challenge at all. He's more of an annoyance. But he makes a great demonstration of how to use your abilities and how to outmaneuver your enemies. And some weapons, as you just saw, can do blocks and deflections, which allow you to do change-up attacks that then allow you to continue on your assault and do different things. Now, as you can no doubt see, this game is visually very impressive. Ooh, Power Clash. By timing my block correctly, I managed to Power Clash with him to get extra damage. And now he's temporarily stunned, which means I can add to the attack. And now he's on the run. Now throughout the game you'll notice bugs and various insects. And they all have different uses. These guys, for example, heal you instantly. You recover damage. Others you can mix into potions or toxins or other things useful for later on. There's mining outcrops to be mined for various materials, which you need to build the higher level weapons. Everything in the game has a purpose, some better than others, but they all can be useful. But now, I have two choices. I have injured this thing. I can choose to actively attack him and kill him, or I can do this. Prep myself for a fight, and then I deploy my shock trap. Now, that should be enough. Now, I back off, I get him to pursue me, and now I drop some trank bombs on him, and I capture him. And now if you capture them, you usually get better prizes as a result. But it's also more challenging. It requires more prep work, and requires a little bit more tool usage.
Alright,
He stole my sausage. Darn you, bird. I love the palicos. And you know what? When we get back to camp, we'll get into that. A feudal fight. Love the games even ragging on the cheddar copper because like, yeah, no, this thing ain't no threat. You gonna bushwhack this thing. Yep. Alright, so we're back. And now to start the demonstration of how this works. So, here's the hunter's rest, the tent. And in here, I can organize, I can restock, and I can distribute my various items for later use. So now, I can go in, grab some traps, and if I want, I can make other items. Antidotes, herbal medicines, which I have plenty of. Thing is, all these things stack together like antidotes. I can make more from antidote herb, which I get constantly on the battlefield. Or mega potions, regular potions, catalysts, immunizers. All this stuff is made from materials you gather in the world. Armor skin, demon powder, farcaster, hard shell powder, mega bombs, which I have a few of but I don't really use. Dung pods, which are good for scattering enemies if there's a large number of them. It's handy for, group fights. You can do luring pods, which lure enemies to a target. You make poisoned meat to detoxify them. Poison smoke bombs, which can be useful for poisoning enemies. You can use trank bombs, trank ammo, or trank blades. All this stuff has a purpose. Then you get to your equipment. These is my armor. Now you don't see the helmet because I'm not actually wearing it. And then palico. This is my palico. And yes, my palico is dressed up in a fancy ballroom gown made out of the armor of a giant leviathan I killed recently. They have quite a few different outfits. One of my current favorites is this one. Go Power Kitty. It's not the only one I have. I have all kinds of different outfits and equipment, like this one. But this is still my current favorite. They also carry weapon, in this case the mace. Got the onyx blade. Hey, the Rampalo blaster, the guardian sword. All of these have different uses, but at the end of the day, the palico's real job is just to be there to keep people off your case. It's to get you breathing room in a fight. So, that was a good 13-minute fight, not too busy. One of the things you will do, and one of the things you'll need to do regularly, is eat food. These are meals you can make with existing resources. In this case, two of my favorites. I do not have the cheese, but I do have the shrimp, so let's cook us up some dinner. God, they make the food look so good. And then in appearance, you can go ahead and change your equipment, turn off or on your armor set. I like to leave the helmet off. You can customize your palico's appearance. You can even customize your bird's appearance. Alright, so one more hunt. Where'd she get off to? Ah, she headed north. Yeah, your partner actually can wander around quite a bit. It's kind of funny, actually. Mickey! There we go. He's happy now. Alright, so we're going to do one more quest. And we'll do white whales. All these that are 5 are high level battles, which I'm not going to be doing now. I'm actually farming this thing because I need parts from it for a weapon, for some weapon and armor building, and it's a fun fight. So we'll go ahead and do that. Use a lucky voucher, and off we go. Alright, this looks like we're in... Oh yeah, we're in the forge area. And off we go. Meet the Geistrops or whatever they call this blasted thing. I don't know. I do not know. I just call it the flashbang because that's what he is. Damn it. Didn't time it right. Usually can use that big weapon, that big metal thing in the middle to do significant damage. But this is my alternative weapon. While the charge blade was highly defensive and very good for doing... I'm very good at doing stack damage where you hit it with big hits to power up the injuries. This weapon is the twin blades, and it's designed for very fast attacks. And then to make more damage, you go into demon mode, which very efficient at doing damage. Not so good for your stamina, because it drains your stamina very quickly. And against some enemies, it could be very annoying. On the other hand, as you can see, I'm literally just stacking hits left, right, and center. As you'll notice, I stopped using demon mode because it was draining my stamina. Now I've injured it. And one of the coolest things about this is what happens if you hit an injured part. Which I will do if you'll sit still for 5 seconds. There it is. The buzzsaw. Not quite as effective on this guy as some of the other enemies, especially larger enemies where it has a longer target zone and you can do a lot more damage. The best thing about these weapons is that they allow you for exceptionally high mobility. Plus, they allow you to get out of the way quickly and get clear if you need to. They do have some secondary effects, though. The lack of a block function means you're vulnerable. It also means that you tend to be in close and point-blank range on these things constantly, which can sometimes leave you in a situation where you get caught by stuff you weren't intending to get caught by. See, my Palico to the rescue. Took care of business for me. And now it's on the run, and I hop on my bird lizard thing to pursue. Oh no! It looks like the Ceracos ran into the Narcilla, a big spider monster. And now the two of them are fighting, and it looks like the Narcilla got the edge. And create a little chaos here. Looks like the other guy got away, so we're gonna take off and go pursue it and leave the big spider thing to deal with its own problems. Because I ain't interested in fighting him. Surprise! And from the backside. Now you notice that each individual blow is relatively weak, but I'm doing 2 or 3 hits per swing. So that rapidly stacks the damage, so that I'm making way more injuries. Plus crit hits mean that I'm getting way more damage than normal whenever I get crits. So. No, missed me. Ow. So I got in here and cut that tail off one of these blasted days. See? Demon mode activate. Now all my damage is amplified, and I turn into a whirling dervish of absolute pain. And as I said, part of the problem with the Twin Blades is that their special maneuver is definitely more effective on bigger targets. So that's probably kind of true of all of the special maneuvers. I got blinded. And this one I'm not capturing. This one I'm just turning in, I'm just blending into oblivion. He's getting sliced to bits. That is the end game. And there's my boy coming through clutch with the heals. Now, because of how much I've used them, they're already wearing out, which makes them wear out very quickly. So, I gotta get back in, give them a bit of a run on the whetstone, and return to the pursuit. And this time the Narcilla looks like they've abandoned the area, so I can go ahead and pursue them directly. Chill mantle. Okay, this is still technically an area where the Narcilla likes to hang out, so it could still be around. I wasn't even looking at the darn thing and it flashbanged me. Ow! Nope, get in the way. Let's see, my buddy got poisoned, so he's affected. And he's still trying to help me out with the heals. He's tired. Problem is, he's not wounded anywhere, so I can't, like, do a nice finisher. But the whole thing about the blades, the twin blades, is constantly switching back and forth between the demon mode, this, and regular mode. Because demon mode gives you power and damage boosts, but rapidly drains your stamina. Demon mode also opens up new moves and techniques when you have full power, but those techniques, again, drain your stamina massively. So you're constantly fighting that battle. Still, the ascents always end up in good places to grab a few unique items. But we're done. Aww. Who's my good kitty? Who's my good kitty? Yes. Good kitty. Perfect timing. And that brings us right to 30 minutes. So we'll put a pause on this for now, and I'll be back with a follow-up video in just a bit. I want to do 2 more hunts. I want to show you the Labalina, and I want to show you the Ray Dow. So we'll get to them next time. Until then, I will see you later.